Yo, what up, friends? It is your Let's Talk Sports Boston Celtics insider, Omar Fonseca from Ball and Buds Sports and Entertainment on YouTube at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. And you can find me on Twitter at MVPSMB. Shout out to DDH and the crew at Let's Talk Sports. Let's get it. And what a roller coaster of a season it was, Celtics fans. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to when Ime Udoka was fired for an improper relationship with a team employee, which still blows the hell out of me, right? You got Nia Long, one of the most beautiful women in the world, and you over here, neither here nor there. And what a wild start to the season it was, right, y'all? Just a few days before the season, Joe Mazzulla then was picked to replace Ime Udoka. He was a back row assistant, not even a front row, which means that Udoka's main assistants were passed over, which is why a few of them will be going to coach with Udoka in Houston. That being said, there was a little bit of dissension, but Mazzulla kept the locker room, kept the players, even after Damon Stoudemire went to coach Georgia Tech and Will Hardy went to coach Utah Jazz. He still kept the team together and did a really good job. As Jason Tatum said, he was thrown into a tough position, right? Just a few days before he's given the reins to a championship contending team. Now, most people would say, oh, well, that should be a good thing, right? You should be able to easily, and while, again, it's a disappointment, right? He was thrown this all on his plate at the last minute, still led the team to a really good regular season and to the conference championships. Now, obviously, we know after a thrilling 7-game series to the Heat, it was a very, very deflating loss. Especially after having a team that ranks second in offensive and defensive efficiency in the regular season, even with all the lineup changes. So let's get into a little bit of all of this. Mazzulla's coaching decisions can be debated. We know his penchant for not calling timeouts and letting the team just run and try to learn from the on-court, right? OCT, on-court training, like OJT, right? He's trying to let them learn in the moment. That's his thing. Also, his desire, right, for more offense instead of the defense identity that they had the season prior. He wanted to work in more offense. This was at the sacrifice of the defense. That being said, he still coached them to a really good defensive efficiency, even with Robert Williams being out a third of the season. Derek White stepped up to become an all-second NBA team defensive player. All in all, really good season for the team. Obviously, the outcome is not what we desired. Do I believe that we should have ran more with Robert Williams? Yes, I do. I mean, they played... Robert Williams and Al Horford played, and granted, Williams was hurt for a third of the regular season, but they only played 332 minutes together. 160 minutes less than Luke Cornett and Sam Hauser. Now, I have no problem with the two role players. Love them. Hope they both come back, which they most likely will, because Peyton Pritchard is going to get traded, and Luke Cornett does not have a contract date where he has to have a contract signed by. So that's open, and he's the least expensive of all the restricted free agents. We'll get into all that later. That being said, I really wish they would have played that lineup more. I really wish he would have called more timeouts. I really wish he wouldn't have thought that the three-point shot was the most important shot in the NBA, even though it is. Because the Celtics this season were live by the three, die by the three, and that killed them in Game 7. That being said, Mazzulla's still a really good coach. As Brad Stevens says, he is going to stay as the coach. So going forward, I believe he is going to grow and become a really, really, really great coach. Again, really good first season for any other franchise. It's just that us Celtics fans expect the world because of what we've been given. We're spoiled for all of our past. And that's, hey, that can be a gift and a curse, as we know. But Mazzulla, he saw the puzzle differently, right? He wanted more of a free-flowing offense and defense, which I don't see why. I know Williams was limited, minutes restricted, hurt for a little bit, but when he's healthy, he can run the floor like a gazelle, and he has the wingspan of a of a pterodactyl. I don't know. I don't think pterodactyls actually go like that, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. I don't even know. I've never seen a pterodactyl in my life. Have you? No. All right. Anyways, he wanted them to be more free-flowing. He wanted them to be more improvisational. He wanted them to be problem solvers on the court, which is why a lot of times he never called timeouts and just let them run, even though we're screaming at the TV like, call a damn timeout. You know, hey, right? He let them learn. Eventually, it worked, but the problem is that, again, if you don't have the right lineups or if you're getting out-coached by another team's coach like he did by Spoelstra, there's no way around that. He couldn't figure out the 3-2 zone they were throwing at us, which is they were live by the 3, die by the 3. In that game 7, after our magical, I call it the angels in the outfield, when Derek White just caught the ball and just sunk it in the rim, and we were all like, yeah, Boston! Because, right, thinking Game 7, I've been to Game 7 in Boston last year when they played Milwaukee and blew them out. It was electric, and I did not expect us to lose at all. I didn't think there was a chance. Now, Tatum did sprain his ankle on the first play, but I don't want to hear any excuses. They didn't have Tyler Hero. We had Jaylen Brown. Somebody needs to step up. There's still no reason for us to lose that game. Although Tatum was not himself clearly that whole game, we still should have won the game. That being said, again, we live by the 3, die by the 3. We led the league in three-pointers in the regular season, and when they started firing away in Game 7 and they kept missing, no one tried to drive to the paint. No one tried to take a 2-point jumper. No one tried to move the ball. It was just run up, shoot a 3, try to hopefully catch up as quickly as possible. Well, when you're not making them, that's what happens, and now they gone fishing. Right now they're over in Martha's Vineyard drinking some wine. I ain't even been to Martha's Vineyard, so I don't even know. But that being said, it was a pattern that followed the regular season. They were 31-1 when shooting over 40% and 23-24 when shooting under. So it's a clear line of divide. If you're going to be that high of a three-point shooting team, you better be practicing 100 threes a day. So I hope that he has his team practicing three-pointers every day this offseason if they're going to pull that again. Also, right, we'll see he's going to get more assistants. Obviously, some of those assistants are going to go and join Ime Udoka in Houston, right? Will Hardy is gone to Utah, as we mentioned. Damon Stoudemire has already left to Georgia Tech, right? So a few of the other coaches are going to join Udoka, so they are going to have to bring on a veteran staff of assistants to join and help Mazzulla next year. And I assume that the owner will do that, because Wick Grossback was not very happy after we were down 3-0. Most don't know this, but I know from locker room sources after it happened. After they were down 3-0, Wick Grossback went in there and just lit into them. It was supposed to, players were all in there, and he just came in and basically said, grow a set of balls and get to winning. They did. They came back and won 3 in a row, almost made history, becoming the first team out of 151 to come back from 3-0 like the Red Sox did against the Yankees. But unfortunately, again, they were not able to pull it out. That being said, they have a lot of questions now to answer in the offseason, right? Does a bad conference finals preclude you from signing Jaylen Brown to the Supermax? The Supermax is a 5-year, $295 million deal that needs to be signed by October 23rd. That being said, you also have some other restricted free agent candidates, such as Grant Williams, right? You did not sign him to an extension last offseason. He fell out of the rotation, was in and out of the rotation. So do you even sign him now if Mazzulla doesn't plan on playing him? Or do you let him walk to have those savings and hopefully have a healthy Gallinari come back? Do you keep Gallinari or do you trade him? Peyton Pritchard is gone. He's already asked to be traded, and we have Sam Hauser, so that's a fine replacement for Peyton Pritchard. So you can have some savings there as well. They're going to have to start saving money in places, y'all, because although they will not have to deal with the first apron tax this offseason if they sign Brown to the Supermax, if they sign Grant Williams as well, they will go into the repeater tax, which will cost them more on the luxury tax. Also, if they do sign Brown, they have a 2-year window to decide what they're going to do with Brown and Tatum. Do they sign Tatum to his supermax of 5-year and $318 million in a couple years? If they do, are you going to allocate $600 million to 2 players on one team? I don't know, but also I don't see why not. That's kind of where the NBA is headed at this point. If those two have that kind of money, you're going to have other players on other teams making the same amount of money. Now, obviously, the small market teams probably won't be able to compete. Not probably, won't be able to compete with that, but the big market teams are going to spend the money and going to have multiple players at that rate, and you're going to have to win. If you have 2 of the best young players in the league, like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, why break them up? All season long, all we heard, break them up from when they had the losing streak early in the season to the late playoff failures, right? Oh, we should break. Why? Why are you trading Jaylen Brown? Yeah, he didn't have the greatest playoff series, but neither did Jason Tatum. They're both really great young players. They are the core of a championship team. There are pieces around them for it. They are a win team now. If you put some more good assistance with Mazzulla, bring a few more role players in to round out the team really well, they are still a top contender for the next few years at the least. And if you sign them both long term, then for the foreseeable future as well. So I don't break them up. I don't fire Mazzulla. I bring everybody back. I trade Peyton Pritchard. Unfortunately, I love Grant, but at the rate he wants, and if Mazzulla's not going to be playing him, you just can't pay somebody that much money to sit on the bench. So you find a trade partner for maybe him and Peyton Pritchard, and maybe bring a veteran back. If not, whatever, you let him walk, you get those savings, and hopefully a healthy Gallinari, as we mentioned, will come back. Get some more role players in there that can help them out. You need another wing. Not a scoring wing, a defensive wing, maybe a 3-and-D wing. You also need a point guard that can distribute. Marcus Smart is amazing. The heart of the team, the heart and soul of the franchise. He is a very decent offensive point guard. He has developed over the years amazingly into a very good offensive point guard, but he's still not, right, a pass first, offensive first point guard. He's more about the team play defense, which is great, right? But pair him up, right, with a more pass first, offensive first point guard. You brought in Derek White in the you brought in Derek White during the season to start. Maybe you do that again, but I really like the double big lineup. So I really think if Williams is healthy, you go with Williams, Horford, Tatum, Brown, and Smart, right? But you bring in a point guard that can come in and distribute the ball and not look to always score like Brogdon and White do, which is not a bad thing. But if you have too many scores, who the hell is passing the ball? I also let Muscala go, but I keep Cornette. Cornette is about $2.4 million. Muscala 3.8 or 3.9 million. I let Muscala go. I keep Cornette. Hopefully that'll also bring some savings in as well. So, nothing else to it, y'all. That is all. We will see what they do about the assistants they bring in. We will see if they sign Brown to the Supermax. As well. A lot of decisions, y'all. Big offseason for the Celtics. Yes, they fell short of their expectations. Yes, they fell short of banner number 18. But I believe with the right moves this offseason, they will be back stronger than ever next year to win banner number 18 for your Boston Celtics. My name again is Omar Fonseca, your Let's Talk Sports Boston Celtics insider. Shout out to DDH and the crew at Let's Talk Sports. You can find my podcast, Ball and Buds, on YouTube. Again, at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Find me on Twitter at MVPSMB. And also, shout out to the Sideline Sports Network and The Bottom Line with Flo and Can. Catch The Bottom Line with their NBA Finals special pre-show live before every game at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will see you, Boston Celtics fans, for banner number 18, Real Unfinished Business, in October. I am your host, Omar Fonseca of the Ball and Buds podcast. We out. Holla.